A hush fell over Barca's training ground when the club announced a small but seismic absence. Frenkie de Jong was not with the group, excused for a family matter, as he awaited the birth of his second child. The timing could not be more cinematic. A moment meant for private joy has cracked open an immediate tactical question for Hansi Flick ahead of the Levante game. For fans, it is a simple, emotional image. A captain choosing family in the blur of the start of the season. For the squad, it is the kind of gap that forces decisions and accelerates careers. Into that gap walks Gavi, a player who has spent recent months rebuilding himself from injury and expectation, showing flashes in pre-season and then making a telling contribution in the opening fixture by setting up Lamine Yamal's goal. That moment was not just an assist, it was a message. His legs remember the rhythm, his vision still finds the decisive pass, and his hunger for a permanent place in the 11 has only sharpened. Coaches notice those things. And when a manager must choose between steady continuity and a spark of unpredictability, Gavi's energy becomes a loud argument in his favour. Yet the manager's dilemma is real. Flick has leaned toward a De Jong-Pedri spine in midfield. A combination that offers balance, control, and the kind of possession stability the coach prizes. That duo reads like a default, experience married to positional intelligence. Replacing De Jong with Gavi would change the profile of the middle of the pitch. More press, more acceleration, more verticality, but potentially less ballast when the opposition tries to pull the strings. This is not a question of better or worse, so much as different solutions to the same problems, and those differences matter massively against a team like Levante that will test intensity and transitions. From a narrative standpoint, these crossroads are where careers pivot. Gavi arrived at pre-season buzzing, top scorer in some tour fixtures, bristling with confidence, and he has never been content to wait. The recovery that followed injury was disciplined and urgent. The player who came off the bench to assist in the opening game carries both the memory of enforced absence and the roar of vindication. If Flick opts for youth and dynamism, Gavi's inclusion is less an experiment and more a statement. Barcelona will lean into pace and pressing rather than only control. If Flick sticks with the tried De Jong-Pedri formula, the story becomes one of patient rotation and long game management. Both paths have fans and critics. Tactically, the Levante match will reveal what Flick values most right now. Does he prefer to smother the opponent's build-up with a nimble, aggressive midfield that creates turnovers high up? Or does he choose to anchor the game with measured passing and positional discipline? Gavi's skill set, short bursts of piercing dribbling, urgent pressing, and an ability to connect to pace offers an immediate tweak to Barcelona's tempo. But the manager must also think about how those tweaks ripple across the 11. Who covers when the ball is lost? How fullbacks are encouraged to push? And who can supply Pedri with the right angles to flourish? Coaches do these thought experiments every week. This one is just a touch more public because the player involved is a household name with a temperament that divides and delights supporters. For Gavi himself, the narrative is human before it is tactical. He knows the stakes, knows that opportunities sometimes arrive wrapped in someone else's private moment, and that football demands ruthless readiness. If he starts and sets the tempo, his performance could force Flick's hand for weeks to come. If he arrives and the system creaks, the moment will be remembered as an early test that showed limitations. For De Jong, the pause is familial and welcomed by supporters. Life beyond the pitch, which every fan ultimately respects. But its sporting aftershocks will be felt in the headlines, manager interviews and, crucially, the team sheet on match day. So when the whistle blows at Levante, the contest to watch won't only be on the scoreboard, it will be played in the spaces between passes, in the way the midfield breathes, and in the small decisions that signal bigger shifts. Will Flick choose experience and the familiar rhythm of De Jong-Pedri, or will he gamble on a younger pulse and let Gavi try to explode into the side? Either choice tells us something about Barcelona's immediate identity this season. Cautious consolidation or dynamic reinvention, and both outcomes will be dissected long after the final whistle. The stage is set. The question now is who will accept the role the moment offers.